In this video, I'm going to share how I'm using AI to improve my Spanish speaking. The first thing we want to do is go over to ChatGPT. And just to give you an overview, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting ChatGPT to give us a random topic to talk about for about 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to record it in real time, and then we're going to upload it to another tool called Notebook LM. All right. And that's going to give a breakdown. It's going to analyze the audio, give a breakdown of things we did well, things we didn't do well, give us some points that we can improve on. And then it's going to create Anki cards based on our specific areas that we need to improve, which we're then going to create a CSV from and bulk upload it to Anki to create personalized revision cards or Anki cards for us to improve on based on our own use case, our own specific case. Now, if that sounds a little bit complex, don't worry. I'm going to walk you through everything in this video step by step. Step by step, it'll make a lot of sense. And the first thing we want to do is just ask ChatGPT to give us a random topic. Now, I'm a little bit lazy, or we could say efficient, and I've created a custom GPT for this. So what this does is it understands the whole exercise that we're doing, and all you have to do is tell it go, and it will give us a topic. So this is an example. It gave me trips like viajes, and also it will give you, if you get stuck, like a few questions that you can answer that will help you. Now, as I said, I recommend doing it for 5 to 10 minutes, but in this video, I'll just do like 2 to 3 minutes just for the sake of time. And then we'll move on to the next step, which is uploading it to Notebook LM. So let me click on go. I'm also going to pull up my voice recording. You can do this on your phone. You can do this on your laptop. If you do it on your laptop, it might be a little bit easier because then you can just send the audio right after. But however you want to record yourself, make sure you record yourself. So I'm going to click start on this. Then I'm going to send go. Cool. Los deportes. Bueno, interesante. Yo de niño quería ser, bueno, primero quería ser futbolista. Yo jugaba para un equipo en mi, digamos, pueblo, condado. Creo que tenía 6 años, 7 años por ahí. Y yo diría que el fútbol fue mi primer amor. Y jugaba bastante bien, según yo. Pero bueno, con tiempo no podía seguir jugando para ese equipo. Y luego empecé con el baloncesto, ¿vale? Entonces jugaba unos años para un equipo también en mi condado. Y claro, en ese entonces quería ser jugador de baloncesto también profesional. Mi sueño era jugar igual para los Lakers o Miami Heat. No sé, igual, uno de los equipos. Pero lo que pasa es que, claro, es un juego que, bueno, en todo, en el mundo, en todos los deportes, hay niveles. Y en mi zona, por aquí, sí que yo era muy bueno, pero claro, comparando con las personas, por ejemplo, jugaba yo con unas personas de la selección de Inglaterra y ellos sí que se notaba que eran unos niveles por encima. Pero bueno, ese sueño murió también porque bueno, al final mi padre pensaba que sería mejor no ir por ese camino. Y nada, ahora soy más un fan, ¿vale? Soy más un fan. Yo soy del Barça, sí, es mi equipo de fútbol. También soy del Chelsea, entonces tengo 2 equipos, pero sí que tengo derecho porque, bueno, mi pareja es de Barcelona, entonces voy allí. Aún estamos esperando a que termine las obras en el estadio para volver. Pero sí, de hecho, el Barça y el Chelsea son los 2 equipos al que más he ido a ver en persona. Bueno, a los que más he ido a ver en persona. Y nada, ya han pasado 2 minutos y medio. Voy a terminarlo ahí para que tengáis un ejemplo, ¿vale? Okay, so that's my example. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm just going to rename this very quickly. And I'm going to call this sports. 1 second. So just quickly do that. And you guys, I'm going to pull this up as a file. Show in the Finder. Cool. So this is the audio that I just recorded. If you want to have a quick listen. Cool. Los deportes. Bueno, interesante. Yo de niño quería ser, bueno, primero quería ser futbolista. Okay, cool. So that's what I just recorded. Here's what I'm going to do now, guys. I'm going to go to another tool called Notebook LM. Now, if you don't know what Notebook LM, this is an AI, I believe, by Google, and it's actually based on something called RAG, which I believe stands for like retrieval augmented generation or something like that. Basically, in simple terms, it just means you can upload a lot of sources to it and it will like scan through the sources and retrieve information, right? So you can upload like YouTube videos, documents, files. You can upload, I think, up to like 100 different ones on the free version. But all we want to use it for today is just to upload our audio. So I'm going to upload the audio that I just recorded. And what it's going to do is it's going to start to generate and understand what the audio is. Now, by the way, while that's generating, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jonathan. I started learning Spanish through like immersion back in February 2021. And I had the goal that I wanted to become conversationally fluent by November that year, which is when my birthday is, because I wanted to do a trip to Spain and just speak to people in Spanish. And I actually accomplished it. So I documented it on my Instagram. These are some of the clips if you want to have a look at it. I went to Madrid, I went to Barcelona. Really good times. And then since then, I've done a few interviews in Spanish just explaining the process that I went through. So this is the interview that I did with Mike Ben. Big shout out to Mike Ben. And also this is the interview I did with Pablo from Dream in Spanish. Big shout out to Pablo from Dream in Spanish as well. And now I'm just helping people who are also looking to improve their Spanish in our private group as well. So let's go back to Notebook LM. You can see that it's given like a brief description. So that means that it's understood what the audio was about. What I'm going to do now, by the way, is I'm going to upload 2 reference files so that the AI knows what I want it to make. Because the first thing I want to do is I want it to create an analysis based on give me some pros and cons of my speech in Spanish. And by the way, all of this information, all of the GPTs, if you want it, if you don't want to like do this all manually and you want just the version I've created, links in the description to our private group, and everybody gets access in the group to everything I create and all the other tools I'm going to be creating in the future. So I'm going to upload 2 quick files. Let me show you. One of them is just an example of the type of analysis that I want. And then another one's just an example of the type of Anki cards that I want to create. And I'll show you guys what they look like in a second. Right now, I also have a prompt that I've created. And the first prompt is just going to say, okay, look, just listen to the audiobook. Just listen to the audio, that I've created. And can you just create some pros and cons? Like, just give me some things that I did well, things I didn't do so well based on what I was saying. So let me put the first one in. And it's just going to say, look, use the example, use the audio, and just give me some pros and cons. What can I improve on? What did I say well? So it might take a few seconds, but it'll probably give me a decent pros and cons list. So let's see what it comes up with in real time. Okay, so it says you did it very well. Fluidez, coherencia, claridad de expresión de ideas, vocabulario variado, uso natural de conectores, entonación, pronunciación. Okay, great. So that's more so just for my ego. So that doesn't really matter too much. What we really want to focus on are the areas to improve. So, variation, muletillas, expresiones, aunque use de bueno y claro es natural, se repiten con bastante frecuencia a lo largo del audio, especialmente bueno. Okay, we need to improve that. Pequeñas vacilaciones o repeticiones inmediatas. Okay, so we want to improve this. Concisión en la expresión. Okay, we want to improve that. Excellent. So now we know what we want to improve. What we're now going to do is we're going to say, okay, great. Can we just like use the areas of improvement? And I want to create some Anki cards, like 10 of them maybe, whereby it can show us, okay, like these are 10 different sentences that we can put into an Anki deck that if we go and repeat them, is going to help us to work on some of these areas that we need to improve. Okay, so I've got another prompt for this. It's a bit longer, but let me just put that in as well. And what this is going to do is going to create nicely formatted Anki cards for us. So let me show you this. It might take a second, but yeah, it's going to create some Anki cards for us, which we're going to be able to put back into ChatGPT, which is going to create a CSV for us to upload. Okay, so it might take a couple of seconds, but let's see what it does for us. And then we can move on to the next stage. Great. So it's going to give me like a breakdown of, okay, I could have said, yo de niño quería ser futbolista. Bueno, primero futbolista. Yo de niño jugaba en un equipo de mi pueblo natal. Excellent. Yeah. So it's given me a few improvements. what I want to see is whether it's going to, yeah, okay, that's great. Tiempo, no podía seguir jugando. Okay, great. So I can take this, I can copy this, and I've also got another GPT. And what this is going to do is going to create Anki cards for me based on based on the output from a notebook LM. If I just paste this here, so I just copied it. If I just paste it here now, what it's going to do is going to create a file for us. And it's going to be a CSV file that we can upload directly into Anki. Okay, now the good thing is it looks a bit weird with like all of this stuff here, but this we actually want it to be there because this is going to underline certain parts. That's going to be the focus where I said something wrong. And then when I'm in Anki, it's going to help me to know that, okay, this is where I need to focus on. Okay, so for example, if I download this, so if it downloads, we can just save that there for now. Now we can pull up Anki. So let me pull up my Anki. Where is it? 1 second, guys. So if I pull up Anki, and then we can just import them. So not for now. I'm just going to clear this. Now I actually don't use Anki that much, but because like, for example, when I was learning Spanish, I didn't do any of this. I didn't really use AI, and I wasn't the type to study anything. However, with obviously the advancements of AI, which is quite interesting. I know there's a lot of talk about language learning and AI. I think it'd be a good idea to try and implement some of this into my language learning. So this is what I'm trying to do. And I feel like with things like this, it's way more, at least for me, a lot more enjoyable to kind of study Spanish or try and use AI within language learning, because I'm not really the biggest fan of sitting down to study vocab, but I don't mind doing like exercises of like repeating words and just speaking. So the whole idea of this isn't necessarily, and you might say, okay, this isn't how you're supposed to use Anki. That's fine. This is my personal way of using it. The whole idea is that I just want to be able to upload some of the sentences that I can improve on and use it as kind of like a task where I can go back and repeat and just practice saying and just making those sounds, right? So if I go into import file, I'm going to import the file that we just created from ChatGPT. And you can see that it's separated it via colons, and I can see you can see the two columns, 1 and 2. This is like the 1 is going to be the sentence that is improved, and 2 is going to be the reason why it pulled that sentence for me based on my improvements. Okay, so if I import this, click on close. Now we can actually look at I'll just go and study now. Now we can see, based on what I just said, like 2 minutes ago, like 5 minutes ago, these are the improvements. So for example, yo de niño quería ser futbolista. Bueno, primero futbolista. Okay, I don't really necessarily need that, but the main thing is I should have put yo de niño quería ser futbolista. I should have said that. So that's okay. Let's look at the next one. Yo jugaba en un equipo en mi pueblo natal. That's great. Jugaba bastante bien, en mi opinión. Luego empecé con el baloncesto. I think here's when I stuttered, I think. I think el baloncesto, I think I started, no problem. Con el tiempo no podía seguir jugando. Great. En ese entonces quería ser jugador de baloncesto profesional. Now these might seem like simple phrases, but the thing is, it pulled these out, and these were sentences that I maybe slipped up on, or I didn't say it as cleanly as I could have. So even just repeating some of these or making some of these sounds, it's going to make it easier or more clear for me to speak in the future. And what I've also done is there will be a few sentences in here that I've programmed it to include, which are things that I didn't necessarily say wrong, but is things that I could have said more clearly or more concisely. So there's going to be some sentences in here as well that are just rewordings of what I said. La realidad es que en todos los deportes existen diferentes niveles. This is an example, okay? So this is just making it way more clear, like just restructuring the whole phrase and making it a lot more concise, okay? Comparando con algunos jugadores de la selección de Inglaterra, por ejemplo. It's another one. Ellos sí que eran de un nivel muy superior. Excellent. Al final mi padre pensaba que sería mejor no ir por ese camino. Excellent. Ahora solo soy un fan. Sí que tengo una buena razón porque mi pareja es de Barcelona. Aún estamos esperando a que terminen las obras en el estadio. Los equipos que más he ido a ver en persona son excellent. Con el tiempo no he podido seguir jugando. Okay, cool. So that's the list that we've gone through. So for example, if I just go through this for now, that will show you, once I go through it all, it'll go through all of them, the ones that I've created. So this is just a simple trick that I'm using. My plan is to do this, just maybe make 10 or a few sentences, maybe less per day, implement it into an Anki deck, and use it as a way of improving my Spanish speaking. Now, by the way, if you're learning Spanish and you would like more of these kind of like AI tips, or you'd like to learn alongside me in a private group, you've got the link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.